Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about a new movie that has just come out on Hulu. It is a thriller. It is called Run. Now it stars Sarah Paulson, who you probably know from the American Horror Story franchise, as well as Ratched and so many other things. I adore her as an actress. I think she's absolutely amazing and she really performs in this movie. She is a little bit outshined by newcomer Kiera Allen, who just does a phenomenal job, but the two of them, their chemistry on screen, it was perfect. They're both amazing. But that doesn't mean this was a good movie. It was an all right movie. Now, let's get into it. I'm going to give my review, but I am also going to get into the ending explained because there are definitely some unanswered questions there. So if you have not already seen the movie, you are pretty good to watch a little bit of the ways in, but I will warn you when spoilers are coming, and just be sure to stop then. If you've already seen the movie, let's get into talking about Run now on Hulu.
Hey, Tessa from Mama's Geeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel.
Okay, so this movie starts off with a newborn baby that is clearly in distress. Sarah Paulson is the mother, and they won't even answer her when she says, is the baby going to be okay? Then flash forward and you see Chloe, who is now 17. She is in a wheelchair. She has so many different health conditions, actually, in between the two, in between the baby being born, and then this flash forward, they list like 5 or 6 different conditions with the descriptions. So you know that's what Chloe has. And she's got these rashes all over her. She's got asthma. She's wheelchair bound, which, by the way, the actress, Kiera Allen, is wheelchair bound. So I thought that was really cool of them to cast her in this role. And again, she's phenomenal. I mean, the girl's going to be going far. She's absolutely incredible actress. But anyway, as it goes on, you start to see the relationship between the two, and this daughter, Chloe, she's very excited to go off to college, and she's waiting for acceptance letters, and her mother is always running to get the mail before her, and then says, don't worry, if there was mail, you know, if there was a college thing, you'd open it, don't worry. And that's kind of the premise of it. I don't want to get into many spoilers because it is only an hour and a half long. But I will say the movie left me with some unanswered questions, which there is a way to solve that, you guys. There are extras on Hulu, and there are 3 deleted scenes that I highly recommend watching. They'll add only about 5 minutes to the movie. I'm not sure why they cut them because they explain a lot of answers, and I think they're definitely worth watching for you guys. So if you watch the movie and then check out those 3 extra scenes, I think that will help. But overall, the movie it's insanely predictable, which is fine for a thriller. I felt like there wasn't that much suspense. I felt like I could have been in a lot more suspense, but I mean, it was okay, right? I mean, the best part of it was the acting. The two of them, like I said, on screen, their chemistry is amazing. And it's only an hour and a half, so is it worth a watch? Yeah. If you like thrillers and suspense, sure. I mean, you're in suspense a lot, but I felt like I knew what was going to happen. And then, like I said, I was left with some unanswered questions, which luckily the deleted scenes answered for me, but they should have just kept them in the movie. I don't see why they took them out, especially with the movie only being an hour and a half long. My husband hated the movie. He fell asleep several times. I kept trying to wake him up. He was like, I'm good. Let me know when it's over. I don't care. This is not good. It's very slow. And it is a slow movie. And it's predictable, which doesn't help. Now, it's slow in the sense where it's a thriller and it wants to keep you in suspense, but some moments just really fell flat. And there seemed to be a lot of jumping around, which I think the deleted scenes would have helped as well. So now, that's my review. I mean, I give it like, I guess a 3 out of 5 if you like that sort of thing. I mean, listen, I don't want to say I don't recommend this movie because if you like thrillers and suspense, you might like it. I recommend this movie if you watch the deleted scenes. If you're not going to watch the deleted scenes, don't bother to watch the movie. I will say, though, like I said, the acting is great. It's really good, and I don't want to get into spoilers, so now I'm going to get into spoilers. So if you have already seen the movie or you don't care about spoilers, you can continue to watch. If you have not seen the movie and you do not want spoilers, stop now, but come back later and finish this after you've seen it and the deleted scenes. Okay, so here we go. Spoilers start now. All right, here's the thing. From the very beginning, you know Sarah Paulson is clearly doing something to her child. She's weird the way she's keeping her locked inside. She's 17 and she doesn't have a cell phone. She's not allowed to really use the internet without her mom right there. It's very weird, and you can tell there's something up, right? My husband and I were like, oh, it's Munchausen's by proxy. Like, clearly that's what's happening. She's keeping her child sick? Is it because she almost lost her daughter? Is it something with the father? Who knows? Because you never see the father. They don't even really mention him. They mention him in the deleted scenes, just that he's dead, but they don't mention him at all in the movie that I noticed or picked up on, which, you know, I mean, I could have missed it, but I don't think there was anything there. So, you know, almost immediately there's something going on. Now, when the daughter, Chloe, is trying to run and get extra chocolates because she really loves the chocolates and she wants to hide them, she finds a prescription bottle with her mother's name on it. So she thinks her mom is sick. Now, you go from her looking at that to then the next scene is, oh, hey, your doctor changed your prescription. Here's your new pill. That's where a deleted scene comes in. So that deleted scene, I feel like, was really important. She confronts her mom. Are you sick? What's going on? Because, of course, that's what she thinks. And her mom says, no, 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 and you're not a burden, and don't worry, and blah, 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 blah. Okay? So we missed that whole scene in the movie, which I think really would have helped tie the two together, because it seems like a really weird jump. Like, yeah, why does my mom have this prescription? Like, why is she trying to give me her prescription? Sure. But, you know, don't immediately go to, oh, she's poisoning me. You know? Like, that to me felt like a weird jump. And I think that that scene in between kind of helped a little bit because she's just flat out lying about it. Another deleted scene shows where she tries to explain it away. She says, oh, no, listen, I printed out a label. I put it over it. You were right. It was my prescription. However, look, we have serious financial problems. And if I get this prescription, it costs way less because you have this pre-existing condition of paralyzed since birth. And, you know, where the reason I run and get the mail is because I don't want you to see all the past due bills. And, I mean, she's trying to explain this away. And she even brings up a medical dictionary that talks about the trigoxin. But the daughter notices, Chloe notices that a page is, like, cut out, like, very neatly cut out. Probably a picture of the pill, since that's not the pill, as we find out later on. So then the daughter said, Chloe's like, this is weird, whatever. Her mom's outside. She like calls a random phone number and is like, hey, can you Google this for me? Which I thought was a really weird scene in the fact that like the guy's talking about his wife or girlfriend is like mad at him and thinks he's cheating on. It was just very weird, that whole conversation. It was very strange and I didn't understand the need to put that much into it, but sure, whatever. It didn't take away that much from the movie, but either way, she finds out that the pill is supposed to be a little red pill, not, you know, a green and white pill, which is what her mother is trying to feed her. Of course, as she stops taking the pills, she starts to feel a little bit of movement in her legs. You can see she can wiggle her toes and stuff like that. Eventually, she convinces her mom to take her to go see a movie. And when they go out, she says she has to go to the bathroom, but she goes to the pharmacy and she's trying to find out. Well, lo and behold, she finds out that this is a prescription for dogs. I never saw that they had a dog. They said it's for your dog, but there's no dog. So I don't know how she pulled off getting a prescription for a dog that doesn't exist, or I guess they just didn't show us the dog. Dog's not even in the deleted scenes. This is very weird, but sure, move along. Just ignore that part. Ignore that little plot hole and move on to the fact that her mother is giving her muscle relaxant, animal muscle relaxants, which clearly is messing with her legs. Now, she's been taking these pills for who knows how long, so obviously it's wreaked havoc on her system, right? So her mother knocks her out, takes her home, then she calls the pharmacy and is like, hey, can you just like tell my daughter that it's cool if she was to be taking these and that I never really would actually give them to her. Since they changed her medication, she's become delusional, which I think it would have been a lot better of a movie if they actually played off the, like, is she not delusional? Because that could have made it a lot more suspenseful. I think that would have been really cool where certain things didn't seem right, but then you almost believed that, oh, maybe she is being delusional and maybe this is all in her head. But that never even crossed my mind. I mean, I get that maybe they were trying to pull that off because they show Diane, Sarah Paulson's character, like writing a letter to the doctor and stuff. I think it would have just been cooler if they really played up the she could totally be delusional and making this all up type of thing, which they didn't do. But anyway, she calls, I mean, listen, first of all, if I was a pharmacist and they called and were like, hey, can you tell my daughter I would never do this? Like, just tell her. I'd be like, something is up. I'm calling the police. But that pharmacist didn't do that, clearly. Well, Diane ends up locking her daughter in her room. So what does she do? She decides to crawl out her window when her mom's not home, crawl all the way into her mom's window. Then she has an asthma attack and she has to go get her inhaler. Then she falls down the stairs and she's all bloody and she runs out and she ends up running into the mailman. Well, she doesn't run out. She wheels out and she ends up coming in contact with the mailman, and she tells the mailman the story, and he says, do you want to go to the hospital or the police? Then her mother shows up, and her mom's like trying to convince the mailman to give her daughter back, and he's like, I don't know, I don't think I can. And so she drugs the mailman, she injects him and knocks him out right in front of Chloe. But then later we see her dragging a bloody body, so clearly she killed the mailman. Later on, must be back at the house, not out on the road. I guess that's smart. And now Chloe is locked in the basement, and her wheelchair is chained up to a table. Now, the first thing Chloe discovers when she's down there is, surprise, acceptance letters from college. So obviously she was getting in, and her mom was hiding it. Her mom doesn't want her to leave. All this stuff is going on. Then there's a box with her mom's name on it. Different last name, but her mom's name on it. Which, you know, because that's a totally normal thing to do, is like, oh, I have all these crimes I've committed and all these crazy things. Let's just put all the evidence in a box and leave it in my basement. Whatever. So she ends up crawling over, or like dragging herself over to the box, and opens it up, and she sees a death certificate for Chloe. Shocker. I kind of started to figure this out a little bit. That's the one twist that was like, oh, okay. So Chloe died at 2 hours and 11 minutes. And then there's a newspaper clipping, as you would keep, of course, of two distraught parents whose daughter was stolen from the hospital. So clearly Sarah Paulson's character, Diane, her daughter died. Her baby died. She went crazy. She stole this other baby and ran away. So was Chloe ever sick? I don't know. But then they show pictures. So we do know pictures of Chloe like walking around on her birthdays and stuff. So her legs were fine. She wasn't paralyzed. I don't know how Chloe doesn't really remember that, but I guess as she's older, she doesn't remember it. Sure. So turns out, yes, her mom's been drugging her. Mom, not even her real mom, Sarah Paulson, Diane, has been drugging her. So Sarah Paulson comes down to talk to her about it, realizes that she's discovered the box, which, by the way, in the deleted scenes, because there is a moment where you see Sarah Paulson's back all scarred up, and you're like, oh, and then they never talk about it again, which was, like, really weird. So in the box, you do see that she was a victim of child abuse. So, okay, that makes a little bit of sense. So she's getting this abuse thing from her mom, sort of, and anyways, that explains the scars, at least. So that was much better. Again, they should have included it. It was like 2 seconds of her finding another newspaper clipping in the box that her mom had in the basement. I don't understand why they took it out, but whatever, they did. Now the two of them are talking, and Sarah Paulson's character, Diane, realizes that Chloe will never forgive her. So she starts mixing paint thinner and some other chemicals and pulls out this hospital machine and is just like, oh, when you wake up, you'll forget. This is good for you, blah, blah, blah. So she's clearly going to, like, poison her kid again. Well, Chloe gets into the closet, locks herself in there. Sarah Paulson, Diane, ends up opening the door, and she ends up trying to kill herself. She goes, you need me, and she takes all these, like, drinking all this stuff and passes out. So what happens? She ends up in the hospital. So we see her in the hospital. She can't talk because of the chemicals that she's drank. She's got this tube down her throat. And then we see Diane just kind of like staring at her, and she's like, oh no, and she can't talk, so she tries to motion to the nurse that she wants to write something down. The nurse cannot give her a pen because suicide attempt, pen is dangerous, but she does give her a crayon. As she starts to write, there is a code blue in the hospital, so of course the nurse has to rush out. I mean, come on. Obviously, Diane created this code blue to make a distraction so that she could get her daughter out. She shows up, she grabs her daughter, she's trying to wheel her out. Her daughter can't talk. She's tied her daughter into the wheelchair. You can tell because she has a blanket over her and it falls down at one point and she pulls it back up. So she can't tell anybody, help, 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 because she can't talk. The nurse ends up getting back into the room. She sees that she wrote down mom with the crayon and she's now gone, so she calls security. They end up, because the daughter has not been taking the pills, she can kind of move her legs. Like I said, she could feel her toes and stuff. She puts her feet down to stop the wheelchair from being pushed. And so Chloe and Diane kind of have this interaction there. Security shows up. Diane has a gun. They end up shooting her in the shoulder and she falls down the stairs. Maybe she died, maybe she didn't. She didn't! They flash forward 7 years. There's Chloe in a wheelchair. She's actually able to walk with crutches. She walks through a security checkpoint. You can tell she's at a prison and she's heading towards the infirmary. She mentions, same as last month. So clearly this is a place she's going every month. You see a wedding ring on her finger, so you know that she got married. And again, this is 7 years later. So who is she going to visit? But Diane. So Diane did not die. She's bedridden. She looks awful. She can't talk. And Chloe just sits down and tells her about, I'm learning to walk again. My daughter is learning to walk. She sees her grandparents, both sets of grandparents. So I'm assuming that she has now found her real parents. And then she says, okay, well, I need to go. And she pulls these pills in a baggie out of her mouth and says, open up, Mom. So now, poetic justice, she is drugging her mom to make her feel like she felt, where she probably can't walk and she's stuck in bed and all this stuff. So there you go. It's a decent thriller. Again, the main thing is these like little plot holes and weird parts, but the deleted scenes really do help pull these together. So if you watch the movie, I highly recommend checking out the deleted scenes. You just go to the extras on Hulu, and you guys let me know what you think down below. If you've seen it already, did this help clear some stuff up? Have you watched the deleted scenes? Go and watch the deleted scenes and tell me if that helps you with this movie. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. You can always follow me over on Instagram and Twitter. I am at Mama's Geeky over there. MAMASGEEKY. Thanks for taking the time to watch this, guys. Bye.